Hi guys, hope you all are doing great. I'm CA Manisha Vyas and this is my co-host CA Disha Veera. We've started our new series called Get Your Optional Subject Right. And today we have a very special guest, Shrujay Shah. He is an AIR 43 of July 2021 attempt of CA final and he's currently working in M&A tax department in Dhruva Advisors. Hi Shrujay.
Hi, Shujay.
Hello, hello.
We're
Thank you for
pleased to
having.
have you on our platform.
Same here. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for giving the opportunity for sharing thoughts about GFRS. So I'm thankful. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll start with the first question, which is basically, I think like everybody who is confused as to which optional subject to choose, they want to know like, why did a particular person go ahead with, that optional. So I would like to ask you, why did you go ahead with GFRS?
So firstly, accounts has always been my favorite subject. So that was one of the biggest reason. Second one, when it came to choosing optional subject, I wanted to take a subject which was practical, which had sums and numbers were involved. So that was the basic idea. Ki I want to take GFRS. But the decision I took only after doing my entire FR lectures. After doing FR, I decided ki yes, I want to go ahead with GFRS. So I would give this advice to everybody that if you are thinking about GFRS, take the decision only after you finish all your FR lectures. And for that matter, I would say elective subject you should decide towards the end of your preparation when all other subjects also done. Like, if you like law, you take economic laws. If you like tax, you take international tax. If you like FR, you take GFRS. So you take the decision about elective after your entire CA, all other subjects are done. And based on your inclination, you take the subject. So I took because I like FR.
Okay. And like if I ask you, would you still stand by your decision of GFRS or would you have selected another optional after, like right now, if I ask you?
See, I'll be honest. If I would have failed, then definitely I would have reconsidered. But since, result was positive, I am happy with my decision. And see, elective is about one thing I can say ki elective is you need to choose an elective based on your liking. If you like, then you will definitely score well. So I would stand by my decision of taking GFRS.
Okay,
One
great.
thing I would like to add is that very few people are taking GFRS. Like I remember, I was the only one who had taken GFRS in my exam center. And I have only one friend with whom I was studying GFRS. So I think this is a pro also that, I don't think institute will ever come up with a very difficult or out of box paper for GFRS because those who are taking also will not take them. So, of course, this is not a decision-making thing, but I
Right.
think GFRS will never be an out of the box due to this reason.
Okay.
So the second question I want to ask is like, what exactly is global financial reporting standards? I mean, if I choose that, what exactly will I be studying in that?
Hmm. So GFRS is basically extension of FR. Entire FR syllabus is there. Plus Ind AS versus IFRS. Even when we are learning FR, sir usually says ki carve in, carve outs are there. This is a carve in, this is a carve out. In the introduction
Yeah,
part, we
right.
see. So these carve in, carve outs we learn in GFRS between Ind AS and IFRS. There are about 15 to 17 carve in, carve outs. And we also learn US GAAP, which is around 50 pages. So this is the entire syllabus of GFRS, FR plus Ind AS versus IFRS. 17 differences are there plus US GAAP. So this is the GFRS.
So basically, like if a person does not like FR or is not good at FR, he should not even be thinking about GFRS, right?
Of course. That goes without saying.
Yeah,
If FR may only you have FAFA, then you cannot do GFRS.
right, right. So the main question is, I mean, what was your preparation strategy? And like, do you have any particular tips that you would like to give that you didn't incorporate in your strategy, but you thought like after, giving the paper that you should have incorporated them?
So, as I already said, GFRS is an extension of FR. So, the GFRS strategy has to be clubbed with your FR strategy. So, first thing is when you start GFRS, it is obvious that you have finished your FR lectures. So I had taken lectures from Bhavik Choksi. It is around 60 to 70 hours. Now in these 60 to 70 hours, sir solves all the past mock test papers, all the past question papers. And if you know, there is no specific module which ICI has released for GFRS. So what you do in the lectures of your GFRS lectures, that is it. Your first revision gets over there itself. Now coming to self-study, when you do FR, that itself means that you are doing GFRS. So GFRS specific learning strategy, or, I did not actually devote any specific time for GFRS. When I was doing FR, at the same time, I used to do my GFRS, Ind AS, IFRS differences together only. So, I did not give any specific time towards GFRS. All my time was devoted towards FR only. And, I would like to discuss trend also ahead. There I will say, when, what I had done. So there is no specific strategy for GFRS. You study for FR and that is sufficient for GFRS.
Okay, so if a person does not go for any classes, then how is he or she supposed to study for GFRS?
I would recommend classes for GFRS. I would recommend, the reason being, the mock test papers of GFRS are very difficult. They are very, very difficult. It is frustrating, and sometimes, it makes you question whether I should take or not. So mock test papers of GFRS are very difficult. So I would recommend to take classes. Having said that, the final GFRS, the exam papers, they are not as difficult as mock test papers. So I would recommend to take classes for GFRS.
Okay, and do you have like a list of resources that you used for GFRS that you could let our viewers know?
Yes. So first is FR modules, the 4 modules of FR. Then the notebooks of FR, like when you make your notes for FR. So those were there. Then there is US Gap 60 pages. That was my study resource. Then Ind AS versus IFRS differences. There are around 5 pages. That was my resource. Then now I come to trend, that if you see all the previous attempts, GFRS has never been out of the box. It is average or it is easy. But there was one attempt, November 21, where they had asked questions from ITFGs. It is Ind AS Technical Facilitation Group, formulated by ICI, which comes out with bulletins which has clarifications. So in November 21, a big chunk was asked from ITFG. They were easy questions, but students were taken by surprise. So I added that also in my resource when I was studying for July 21. So ITFGs I took in my study resource. Now coming to my July 21 attempt, lot of questions were asked from PwC accounting manual. So of course it was first time they asked from there. So that was not part of my resource. So I can recommend, you can do any Big Four accounting manual also, you can take and just go through it once. But again, it's not, you need to create a boundary of your resource. So according to me, FR module, the Ind AS IFRS difference, US Gap, ITFG, this much is sufficient. If you have time, then you can also study any one Big Four accounting manual if you have time.
Okay, that was very insightful.
Adding further, ICI released a GFRS case study digest just before July 21 attempt. It covers all the MTPs till then. So ICI case study digest is one-stop solution for MTPs. So, you rather than, downloading and solving MTPs individually, you can just solve the ICI case study digest.
Yeah. Okay. So Shrujay, in extension to the resources that you mentioned, was there anything else that you took to the exam? And also, did you make an index sheet? Was that also part of the resources that you took?
Yeah. So here the biggest con comes of GFRS, that you have to take a lot of books along with you. So I had a suitcase with me when I went for the exam. FR, 4 modules of FR. Then I had 7 notebooks of GFRS. I took RTP of my attempt. Then I took ITFG. Then those US Gap, Ind AS IFRS. Then all past MTPs, all past question papers. So honestly, I had around 15 books along with me. And I had taken a suitcase. So this is a big con. And honestly, GFRS is not an open book exam. I'll be honest, when I was giving my GFRS exam, hardly 3 or 4 times I would have referred the book. It was all on its own only which I was writing. So GFRS is not actually an open book exam. And anyway, you have given your FR exam, which was not an open book. So, GFRS is not actually an open book exam, but just for mental satisfaction, you need to take everything. So as far as going to exam is concerned, there was a lot of material. Actually, I remember the watchman that was asking me, "कि आप exam देने आ रहे हो क्या?" मतलब with the suitcase I had gone. So yeah, I want to say those who have already taken GFRS and would go for the exam, please don't be shy at all. Take all the books. Take a suitcase. Even my parents were asking, why are you taking so many books? So please don't be shy at all. Take all the books which you have. Don't take any regret. It was there in this book, and I could have copied from there. So don't have that regret. Take all the books. Having said that, you won't have to really refer a lot of books. It will come on its own because you have already prepared FR. So, GFRS paper will go very smooth. You won't have to refer the book many times.
Okay.
And what was your next? Yeah, what was the other question? Yeah.
So did you make an index sheet? Was that even required for something?
Yes. Now, FR modules, if you see, are sufficiently indexed. If you see the module 1, it is general. Module 2 is liability based. Module 3 is asset based. And module 4 is consolidation and business combination. So the FR modules are already sufficiently properly bifurcated. And also inside the module, if you see, the index is sufficiently indexed. So you don't have to prepare your own index. And this is a good thing. You don't have to prepare your own index. As far as ITFGs are concerned, there are 21 bulletins which ICI has released. So ICI has come with its own compendium, which has its own index. So there are 17 clarifications whose index has been already prepared by ICI. So you have to prepare on your own 4 clarifications, 4 bulletins ka index, which I have prepared, which we can attach as a link. So, there is not much requirement of index preparation when it comes to GFRS.
Okay. The good thing is that candidates are mostly privy of what's the topic and where it will be there. So that's
Correct.
a good thing.
One thing I want to say, if a question comes from module, you will surely know where it has come from, because when a question comes, you know which index it is. And you obviously know which index is in which module, because modules are bifurcated very well. So you can just open the book, and if you see the index of a module, it is very well indexed. So if something comes from module, you will surely find it. If something comes from module, so you don't have to prepare index on your own. It's already there.
Okay, great. So Shrujay, my next question is on revising the behemoth subject. So GFRS, even FR as such, is like very difficult to revise before the exam. So what was your revision plan for revising whole of the subject, and how many readings you really did for whole of the content that's given by ICF?
So it is not only for FR, but I would say for all the subjects. If you are going for a rank, or you are thinking of a rank, I think 3 to 4 revisions for every subject is required. So for FR also, you need to give 3 to 4 revisions. But something special I would want to say is, since FR is your first paper, you should give 5 to 6 days before your FR paper. Give 5 to 6 days only to FR before the first paper. Try to solve all the sums from module. And when it comes to GFRS, this becomes all the more important that you do your FR very nicely. You give your first 5 to 6 days very nicely to FR, so that for GFRS, it becomes very quick and you have already solved all the sums of FR. So, special recommendation to those who have opted for GFRS, before FR, you give 5 to 6 days wholly for FR, do FR exam properly. And I think 3 to 4 revisions for FR is fair enough. And GFRS specific revision, I would say you don't have to actually give time. Whenever you are free, or you don't feel like studying anything else, you can study GFRS. Just read the differences. Just read the US gap ka headings. You just have to prepare from open book perspective. So you can just read when you don't feel like studying or learning. You should read the GFRS ka additional content.
Okay. Also, Shrujay, can you list down a few important topics which someone should just not miss revising in detail before the exam?
Yeah, so actually, I'll just list a few topics. It will help you also whether you should take GFRS or not. If you check all the previous attempts, and especially the last 3 attempts, every time a question comes from India's 115, revenue recognition, it comes from India's 116, leases, 102, share-based payment, accounting for subsidiaries, accounting for joint ventures and associates. In GFRS, long sums are not coming, consolidation sums are not coming, but short accounting for investments in JV and associates, business combination, financial instruments, and uspe hedging. When we prepare for FR, we leave hedging. But for GFRS, it is very important that you do hedging. 3 attempts continuously hedging was asked. So hedging is very important from GFRS point of view. Then applicability of Ind AS. We have phase-wise implementation. All this we leave for FR, but phase applicability of Ind AS is important for GFRS. They do ask, whether Ind AS is applicable to this entity or not. And there is one thing, service concession agreement, which is an appendix in Ind AS 115, which is also very important. We leave it for FR while preparing, but for GFRS, it is important. So I have set these list of topics. You should be thorough with these. When you are doing FR, pay more attention to these topics and become master of it. It will really help you in your GFRS preparation.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and we can actually attach the list of these topics as an attachment.
Sure. Yeah. So put this in the description box so anyone who's viewing it can see it there.
Yes.
Moving to our last question and also the last day, maybe the second last day of your CA exams, your open book test. This is like a very different format of writing an examination. So what's something special that you did for this kind of format? Were there any tips and tricks that you used to optimize your time with?
Correct. So as I said, already FR was the first paper, given a lot of time to FR preparation. So your GFRS preparation almost gets done there only. Right. So after I came from my costing paper, after my SCMP paper, that day I was doing my tax preparation, direct tax preparation. The next day I gave to GFRS. So actually one entire day and the morning of the exam is sufficient for GFRS. So this is a pro of GFRS. You don't have to give entire time to GFRS. You can devote some time to your next paper, direct tax also. So this is a pro, and I would advise to all GFRS students also who have taken, after coming from the costing paper, give time to direct tax preparation, and next day you start studying GFRS. Now, when it comes to GFRS preparation, like what I did, I went through all the FR notebooks which I had, just flipped the pages, just saw the headings. Already I had learned. So on the day of GFRS preparation, I was just flipping the pages of my notebook. I was going through the ITFG index. Then those differences I had learned. Ind AS versus IFRS difference I had learned. So, exam day I don't have to, refer it. And US GAAP, I was just flipping the pages and seeing the headings. In case it comes, I am able to answer. Here, I would like to point out that no question has come from US GAAP in any of the previous attempts and also in the MTPs. It has never been asked. In one attempt, 2 or 3 MCQs of US GAAP were asked. So, out of precaution, definitely you should do US GAAP, but don't spend much time on it. It doesn't come in exams. Like at least in past, it hasn't come. And if it comes, it is coming in MCQs. So just prepare it from MCQ point of view. Just read the headings. So in case it comes in MCQs, it is in this heading and, you read it and mark the MCQ. So, this is the tip I would give. Don't spend much time on US GAAP. And I spoke about my last day strategy. I'll speak about my exam strategy. So one good thing about GFRS is that for answering the MCQs, you don't have to read the entire case study. There is a specific paragraph and there is a specific case study, specific MCQ. So, when you read the MCQ question, you just need to find which paragraph it relates and you can answer the MCQ. So this is a good thing. You don't have to read the entire case study. So my during my exams, what I did was I solved all the MCQs first. During reading time only, I started solving the MCQs. So, to be honest, in the 15 minutes reading time and 30 minutes of the actual exam time, I had solved all the MCQs. All 5 case studies ka MCQs I had solved. And you can easily do it because there is only one paragraph for one MCQ. So easily you can do all the MCQs. Then I went to, after solving all the MCQs, I went to which, case study I want to choose. The descriptive questions I decided, where I was more comfortable. And, it is I think in all the open book exam, it is difficult to choose which question you want to, which case studies you want to choose out of 5, which 4 you want to go. So what I had done was I had solved all the MCQs. All MCQs I solved in my first 45 minutes, 15 minutes reading and 30 minutes main paper. So, I knew ki MCQs mein how much I'm scoring. And then based on descriptive, I was, in a better position to select the best 4 case studies, and easily remaining 3 hours, 15 minutes, 3.5 hours, you can do the descriptive 4 case studies. So just to summarize, for GFRS, you solve all the MCQs, then you choose which 4 case studies are the best, and then you solve the descriptive part.
Okay. Yeah, Shrujay, that was very helpful. For reference, we've also attached Shrujay's certified copy of how he wrote the GFRS. It's in the description box below. You'll find it there. It was a pleasure interacting with you, Shrujay, today. I think all those who had GFRS as a subject in mind will have a lot more clarity now. So with this, we'll come to an end to our today's session. We hope you all liked it. In case you want to see similar videos in extension to our series, please subscribe to the channel to get regular notifications. And see you all next time. Thank you.